Welcome back to another edition of the Raiderland podcast. Ryan Hyatt, David Collier from KMAC 28's Red Raider Nation hanging out this afternoon. We just got done with the Cliff Kingsbury press conference. I wish I could tell you guys that there's really some exciting breaking stuff out of that. Give you an awesome breakdown for Kansas. It's just not there. No. There is no point.
No, it's typically the case for any press conference, but probably more so for a Kansas team that's struggled against the likes of Memphis and Ohio.
Right. So, I mean, this game should look much more like Stephen F. Austin than Louisiana Tech. If it doesn't, there are real problems. My only thing, I don't want to see Pat Mahomes out there in the fourth quarter if you're up 5 or 6 touchdowns. I know they want stats. I know they want numbers, but I want Pat Mahomes playing next week at Kansas State.
That's the important game next week.
All right, let's talk about the Big 12 as a whole. This is when rankings really should first be coming out, I think, in college football. This is when you really have a little bit of a better sample size to understand who's doing what and against whom. We see over the weekend the marquee win of the Big 12 get sullied even more with Duke beating Notre Dame.
Yeah.
All right, knowing what we know now, looking at this league, who's the favorite right now? Who do you pick?
I think I stick with the chalk and go with the Oklahomas, maybe a TCU, even though they're a young team, but they've got an experienced quarterback. But just like everybody picked at the beginning of the year, I think you have to go with that just for the fact that it seems like nobody's playing defense and everybody's playing the same offense as they've been playing. So why would I not go with the status quo?
Yeah, I really would have thought by now somebody would have stood out a little bit, whether it was Oklahoma or Texas or even Baylor, that okay, they survived the scandal, Groves settled them down, they didn't lose so many guys that they don't look like Baylor. Well, Baylor doesn't look like Baylor right now. They're thoroughly unimpressive, and I've watched more of their games than I feel like I should as an intelligent human being so far. Oklahoma, the story there is defense because they don't have any, and that's amazing that they don't have any.
Yeah, it's amazing, but I also go back to part of the reason that maybe I'm going to stay with Oklahoma to win the conference is, yeah, they're 1-2 on the year, and their one win is against Louisiana Monroe. Who cares about that one? Their 2 losses are two top 6 teams in the country. I mean, and 2 teams with really good offenses. I know you're going to see that in the Big 12, but I think the Red Raider or the Sooners offense can handle they can match most of the defenses here in the Big 12, probably every single one of them.
Yeah, I lean towards them right now. I think whoever wins this league is going to have 2 losses. I would have thought if somebody was going to rise up and win this thing on defense, it might have been Texas. That with Charlie Strong's defensive side of the ball, even with the young players, that they'd look a little better. They don't. So this is a 2-loss winner league, I think, when it's all said and done. And that will not bode well, obviously, for any ramifications for the playoff. I think that talk can be all dead and gone. The frustrating thing, I think, taking it back to Texas Tech, is that all of a sudden you're sitting here looking at this going into October and thinking, my goodness, if we had just a little bit better defense, maybe we could have been the team to outscore some people and be in this mix. And I can't put them up there yet. I can't move them to that top 3 in the league echelon yet. The defense is that deplorable right now.
No, and you can't do that until they've proven it on the field, and they won't do that this weekend against Kansas. If Kansas, I think we were talking about this at the media availability today, I think Kansas has not scored 29 or more points on the road in a long time.
They
go over 29 here.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a player on the roster who's won a road game.
Yeah. So
maybe going back to high school, even judging from some of the recruiting, I'm not really sure, but I mean, they're just absolutely dreadful.
Yeah,
so you proved nothing with this game.
Yeah, I think the Kansas State game will be a different monster altogether because Kansas State played a pretty decent football game against Stanford early in the year. Again, you know that you're going to have a coach that's going to be ready for anything that Texas Tech throws at him. It's just if they have the manpower, and Bill Snyder is just a wizard. I mean, I don't know any other way to explain it. I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas State wins that football game, and it might not be because of your defense. It might be because of their defense.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, he's David Collier, KMAC Red Raider Nation. You guys are going to be out there Thursday night, so I know you want a whole bunch of folks to come out there and line up behind you and just go wild and crazy, right?
Well, yes, actually we will be
but
out
you
there
will
live,
not be.
We have a setup where you can technically be behind us, but you'll be inside the stadium. So we do encourage you to go inside the stadium and watch the football game. Maybe you get there an hour early.
That's right.
That might be a good idea.
Ron Roberts will be signing licensed merchandise only. Don't bring up your home figurines that you've carved out of soap or balsa wood or anything like that. Only the officially licensed Ron Roberts merchandise will be available for autograph. You can, of course, get that in the Ron Roberts online store.
Yeah, he has an app as well, I think. I can't remember. You just go to iTunes or the Google Play Store and just look for Ron Roberts.
RonRobertsLovesYou.com or something.
Exactly.
All right, we'll see you next week on the Raiderland podcast.